Here we have nutmeg, myristica fragrance. And we have that in several forms. So this is section 2, spices from the New World. We have myristica fragrance fruit here. We also have it as an oil. Also in the Myrtaceae family, which nutmeg was in, and allspice. We have allspice. We also have mace. Okay. And there we have pepper. Piperaceae is the family. Black and white pepper. One important thing I forgot to mention is why is there this Good and Plenty candy here? Well, you see it is a licorice candy. There are two things in this lab that can be a bit tricky with licorice. So star anise seed in the Apiaceae family, shown here as well, has a licorice odor and flavor. So you can see others mentioned as well. Here we're going to focus on the carrot family. Remember that was where the anise seed from over here came from with the licorice tasting candy. So there are many different spices that are within this family. Coriander and cilantro. We have dill and a large description of dill and where the different parts would be cultivated and used. So now we're going to actually overview one of the largest families and providers of essential oils, which is the mint family. Menthol is provided by Lamiaceae. So here's menthol here. Patchouli as well. So we've got some patchouli here. I promise you it's patchouli. We have English lavender. Lavender is also in the mint family. One common feature of the mint family is a square stem, but that is not diagnostic. So there's a bit about lavender itself. Moving on, we've got peppermint. So that helps, it's in the mint family. And peppermint has a lot of wonderful qualities, medicinal qualities. Then we have spearmint here, and we have a live version. You see those crinkly leaves? They're very aromatic. You don't even have to crush them up. A bit more on spearmint. Has been used for toothpaste. Amazing. Here is an herb called savory, and that's also in Lamiaceae. We have a jar here. So this is another seasoning. The leaves are used in a lot of Italian seasonings. We have basil that makes up pesto. Very good. All right, and peppermint oil. So a lot of members of the mint family contain these essential oils. So much so that when I moved to the next station, I noticed it continued. We have basil here, and basil here in flower. Beautiful. People typically, when they cook with basil, don't let it flower and use those leaves to make, add to sauce or make pesto. This is sweet basil. We have here some dried rosemary, back in the mint family again. I'll show you that rosemary in 1 second. Here we have sage. Now let's close out the mint family with rosemary, one of my favorites. Very good with potatoes. Spice Islands rosemary. Many aromatic compounds. They're very needle-like. We have rosemary oil here as well. It's really good for shampoos. And this is not Lamiaceae. This is Brassicaceae, the mustard family. So this is horseradish. I believe the root is used here in this case to create that really spicy sauce. Interestingly enough, another spicy thing is in the Brassicaceae, wasabi. And what I missed up here, white or yellow mustard. So this is known as the mustard family. So here's wasabi, and essentially when you have wasabi powdered in a container like this, if you've only had it in this situation or perhaps at a restaurant, it's a high chance that you did not have fresh wasabi, which tastes completely different. But it's really difficult to make. Once again, mustard family, Brassicaceae, mustard, some mustard seeds. Here are those needle-like leaves of rosemary, and they're very fragrant. And we are moving into the ginger family here. So Zingiberaceae, we've got cardamom. That may be a spice you're not as familiar with. Here it is here. And here we continue on with the ginger. So we have Zingiber officinale. And as you can see, it kind of resembles a palm. And you can see those cool roots. Alright, so a quick note at that. It's good for nausea. That's awesome. Ginger oil as well we have. Ginger candy. I think ginger is one of those things like you either really like it or you don't. I like it in Asian food. Okay, so this is a little out of place. Let's move that. These are some other members of the ginger family. And this is actually the same one I pulled out of the pot there. See how those roots they spread along underground. I mentioned licorice before, and now I'm approaching the second plant that is supposed to smell like licorice. So sassafras albinum. This is a very interesting plant. It has been used for making gumbo. The branch, like the bark itself, smells of licorice to me. So here's some more about Sassafras Lariaceae, is the family it belongs in. And interestingly enough, saffrole, or an essential oil found in sassafras, is the main precursor to MDMA. So it's a bit restricted now on how much, sassafras can be sold. Right? So we've got also back here Vicks Vapor Rub, camphor as well. And this is a camphor tree, Cinnamomum camphora. This you can actually find on campus, and if you rip off one of those leaves, break it up, it has a very strong odor. So there's a bit of the info card on that. Alright. Here is true cinnamon. Cinnamon actually comes from the bark of the tree, which is really interesting. All of the plant parts produce something special. So there he's girdling the tree, taking off that bark to be harvested. And we have this here, so cassia or cinnamon. Most of the cinnamon in the US is actually cassia. So you can read this to find the differences. Cassia, though, is also in the Lauraceae family. And we have some cassia oil here, too. And some true cinnamon. See that bark? Interesting. And another species of Cinnamomum. The native Cinnamomum camphora leaf cross-section shows secretory cells where these oils are hidden. So once again, if you break open that leaf, you break open those oil holding cells and are able to smell that delicious smell. Here we have some more cinnamon. We have cinnamon leaf oil and cinnamon bark oil. So once again, many of the parts of the plant are used. Persea americana is in the bay family, so bay leaves like you would use for cooking. It also has secretory cells where these oils are hidden. So cinnamon, once again, we'll end off talking about cinnamon and move into more members of Lariaceae like Persea americana, the avocado, delicious. Not much of a smell there to me, but we also have bay leaves. And these are often so strong you put in like 1 or 2 and make sure you get that out of your food before eating it. At least that's what I have heard. So here is another species of bay plant. Right? So let's move on to eucalyptus. Hopefully you have smelled eucalyptus before. It's really fragrant, and maybe why koalas smell the way they do. So here's an important slide about that. We have eucalyptus oil. Eucalyptus is within the family Myrtaceae, which also includes clove. Right. So let's roll over. And we have a bunch of things regarding cloves. So this is about clove cigarettes. And I'll quickly scan down that if you need to perhaps pause if you want to read that. And let's see. So we have up here also, before we talk about cloves too much, Melaleuca. This is the genus for the tea tree. Melaleuca alternifolia is the actual tea tree. So if you've heard of tea tree oil, or you have it in your house or your shampoo, this is one of my favorite essential oils and very versatile. Tea tree Melaleuca alternifolia. It's got very interesting, pretty plain leaves. Back to cloves. We've got some dry cloves here. And this is oil of cloves, both very strong, very smelly. Okay, eugenol is one of the main components of this. In organic chemistry, one of our experiments was to extract eugenol from cloves using steam distillation. So that's one type of way you can get oils from plants. So Kretek, these are Indonesian cigarettes containing cloves. And they are shown here. This is quite an old, empty-ish pack, I believe. And that is it for the Essential Oil Lab. I'll give you a once around. So we have New World and Old World oils. And an experiment we set up today to test some different oils and their efficacy of destroying bacteria. So that's it for Lab 2. Thanks for your attention. Goodbye.